My hair has a lot of volume today. I just, every time I look at it, I'm like, oof, that quiff has got like a Josuke, like.
You're channeling your JRPG/anime protagonist today.
Yeah, it's.
Can you fire concentrated amounts of cursed energy?
Domain expansion.
Oh, guess I'm dead.
Infinity hair volume. Welcome to the Undisputed Anime Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zane Reed, aka Zane Taichou, captain when it comes to anime recommendations. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, besto friend, and once went missing during the summer of 2000 with a bunch of other kids at a summer camp, but he's not allowed to talk about it, but he came back with a very cool Tamagotchi. Susu Day, how are you?
Not allowed to talk about it.
What happened?
It's where you see the red dot on my head. Just like, it was a perfectly normal summer.
Some say things went digital. I don't know what that means.
That's when the second and the third dots, like there's one here now and there's like one here. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I'm not allowed to talk about what happened that year at summer camp.
Understood. We will never bring it up again.
You just see the barrel of the gun getting put on. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Very much mixed emotions this week because on one hand, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man not nominated for an Oscar. What is that all about? It's an outrage. It's ridiculous.
I've got some choice words for the committee.
I don't understand. Like, what more did it have to do to be qualified? Like, except for break records.
Is this going to be a conspiracy thing? Is this going to be one of those things where they're like, oh wow, this did so much. This did numbers so much greater than any of the films we put out this year in this country. We can't highlight the excellence of the rest of the world.
But here's what boggles my mind. You have Elio on there, which personally I haven't seen. I've heard good things from other people, but it barely made any money for Pixar or Disney. And then there's two French films that are nominated, which didn't have like a huge rollout in America. It kind of had like minimal showings, which met the requirements for it to be nominated.
Yeah.
It's kind of like these two French films that no one's really heard of. And then you've got Demon Slayer that absolutely carried the summer in terms of box office performance and things. And then you follow it up with Chainsaw Man with like an incredible
movie experience.
Oh, yeah. It's just kind of.
And what do we see there instead? Zootopia 2.
I can understand why it's there though, because it's like made money everywhere else around the world.
I've made my jokes about Disney's Beastars.
Yeah.
I've got my feelings about the less good Robin, the less good Disney Fox.
What I don't know what I could say about it. All I can say is that Zootopia 2 is the Demon Slayer of anime. Like it did the numbers. Like what are we doing here?
I don't ever want to hear you say those words ever again.
It did the numbers. People showed up. People loved it. They brought their friends to see it. Like Zootopia, people brought their pets to see it.
That's wild.
I know. So that was one part of this week. another wild part this week, and this is kind of breaking news as we're recording this. Dragon Ball Super is coming back.
Be about that.
Dragon Ball Super is coming back. There was like a 40th anniversary of Dragon Ball last night. And I'm just bringing up the tweet now. It is... Are you cutting your nails? So it is the Moro arc, and
ooh,
the description is following the universe-saving arc, the anime Dragon Ball Super, which aired between 2015 and 2018. I didn't realize it'd been that long.
That's been so long.
So this is known as the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc. The main character, Son Goku and Vegeta, work together with a member of the Galactic Patrol, the Peacekeepers of the Galaxy, to begin a super scale battle against a new enemy, Planet Eater Moro.
Manga was pretty all right. I know that the Dragon Ball Super manga has been often gotten mixed reviews from people.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and as a result, sometimes people don't like the direction things go in especially after we see the loss of the original brain behind it all. But I found the Moro arc to be very, very interesting, and we also get to see Vegeta step up a little bit in terms of the whole last arc was about like Goku and Ultra Instincts, and this is like we see, and obviously we got to see the movie, and that had Piccolo getting his new transformation. We're gonna finally get to see Vegeta get a new transformation of all of his own.
I'm a little bit excited about this, mainly because it feels like a while since we've had anything Dragon Ball. I want to say the superhero movie came out in 2023.
2023, yeah, maybe tail end of 2022. Which was a fun. It wasn't like a masterpiece, but it was definitely like really fun to see them like double down on because in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, we obviously in the climactic fight sequence they decided, let's do that like cell shaded like 3D like animation, and then with superheroes they just doubled down entirely on that, and the whole movie was that, and I really enjoyed it for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, same. I had a theory at the time that maybe it was like the future going forward, because the only time they did use 2D animation is flashbacks of Goku fighting the Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, is this them kind of telltelling? Turns out that's not true. But either way, I loved the movie. I thought it was really cool. And again, as a Gohan fan, I was like, my boy's back, so, and of course, like you said, Piccolo having the transformation.
And Gohan also got a new transformation in that, because he got Beast Gohan, didn't he?
Beast Gohan, yeah. So. But this is all good news, though. Like Dragon Ball Super, I know the fans have been crying out, like, where is this arc? Because I remember hearing so much about the Moro and Granola. Is Granola part of this as well?
Off the top of my head, yes, but I could be completely wrong there, because it's been ages since I've read it, because there's not been an update in a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, I am excited for this. Also, this was oddly announced as well, but there is a Dragon Ball Super Beerus, and from what I can tell, it looks like they have completely remade the Beerus arc as a TV episodic thing.
Okay, so that would that be because? Okay, so let me just work that out, because that would mean that they're taking something that was originally the plot of a movie,
correct,
which then made it into the Super series, correct, at the very beginning of it. To now just make a series about that part of the series.
we're basically getting a remake before GTA 5.
There's going to be a lot more things we get before GTA 5. Maybe another delay. Who can say?
Hey, possible. It's possible.
Let's not wish it upon the people, because don't need that kind of online presence.
I heard that rumor dropped their stock price. Here's the poster for it, by the way. Let me share the screen. For audio listeners as well, we've been sharing the visual artwork for Dragon Ball Super Galactic Prisoner Patrol. And this is... Yeah, I know. This is Dragon Ball Super Beerus key visual. So, yeah, it's coming to TV, fall 2026. And they are basically reanimated. There's a trailer as well, which looks fantastic. Yeah, they're basically reanimating the first arc.
It's gonna be fun to see it reanimated, especially if the animation is of like super high quality, because like the original stepping into the realm of Super Saiyan God was like really good, and we also got like just a load of really great moments with Beerus. Beerus is a great character because he's like framed to be an antagonist, but it's not so much that he's evil. It's just because he is a god and he doesn't see things the same way that like mortals see things. So things that he wants and things that upset him have much bigger consequences than if it was just a regular guy. Like if he wants something and he can't get it, like the world could end. It's like trying to entertain like a very, very dangerous toddler.
This is true.
In a lot of ways. But I think Beerus is a good character because when he locks in as well, and he's like, oh, I'm going to help out this one time. It's like you see like some really crazy stuff happening.
It's the perfect like character. What's the word I'm looking for? The character type that gives all the information of what's happening, like during these like high stake fights and stuff, could easily step in, but because their morality, because of their, like you said, their mindset
and stuff like that as well,
they're like, why would I step into this? Like, I just want desserts and sleep. Like,
yeah, and it's also I also love it when you introduce like a character who is clearly stronger than every other character, but they're so easily controlled by very shallow things. Like he was gonna destroy the Earth, and then obviously Bulma's just like, throw food at this guy, and like he just like goes to Earth now for snacks because
yeah. Yeah, it's a charming thing, and again I think it's a testament to Akira Toriyama's writing, even into the 2015 2018 and stuff. So yeah.
I think the only thing I didn't like about that whole about that like little arc was when they're like, oh, this is the prophecy of how to make the Super Saiyan God, and they all get in the circle around Goku, and then they're like, oh, we need 5 Saiyans, no, like we need 4 Saiyans, and it's like, oh, preggers. It's like there's a little Saiyan in here. I found that a bit corny. Like,
yeah.
So
yeah, same. Like, okay, we get it. Pan's here, yay! But also, like, can Pan really pray to a grandfather like that?
Pan's a great character, and GT did her like so nasty. So I'm glad that we get to see her being an absolute like stone cold like enemy of the state in like the superhero movie, and in some of the later chapters of Super, where she's just like, I'm a little girl, but I'm not gonna like just let you kidnap me.
But no, it's good. It's really good. Yeah, the last thing I was going to mention on this, from the trailer, the animation quality looks similar to Dragon Ball Daima than it does to previous Super.
Okay.
So again, if you're an audio listener, just to give you an idea of what to expect from the trailer, it looks super high quality. Super. But yeah.
We needed a Frankie sound clip there.
So that has been a lot of news and stuff. I wasn't going to do an Oi Josuke segment. I didn't think it really kind of needed it as such. But just a kind reminder, this is the Undisputed Anime Podcast, where we get together bi-weekly to talk about all the anime bits and pieces that are happening, and sometimes give you reviews and impressions. Like today, we're going to run through all of the winter anime of 26. We're about 4 weeks into it, I'd say, right? Of all, and it's, I have to admit, like last season, it felt like a bit of a drought because I watching things here and there, but not kind of like every week. Well, my Crunchyroll would say different, but this season, there's been so much to watch. I'm watching something new every day.
I'm so locked in this season. Like, I'm more locked in this season than I have been in a while. And I think it's a combination of things. Like, not only are we getting like some absolutely exceptional episodes of series that have now returned, but also I promised myself, you know what, Sue? You're a co-host on a podcast about, anime and anime adjacent. You should make more time in your week to actually do this, because you go into that podcast and you give it so much effort, and then sometimes it's like, oh, how much anime have you watched this week?
Silence, awkward silence.
So yeah, I'm so locked in this month. I'm up to date on everything bar one thing, I think. Unless I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
Well, I say that there's a couple of other things that I'm not watching yet, but
we could go through it. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's just start at the top where it is here.
Okay.
Because, this is the thing that everyone's talking about at the moment.
Which is
JJK Season 3.
Okay, JJK Season 3.
Now, I know that generally speaking, for Western audiences, there's been some ups and some downs. But as someone who was a fan of anime before the COVID boom, I found every single episode to be exceptional and very good. Even Talk no Jutsu.
You talking about the whole Tengen? Yeah, Yap Fest. That I think I saw someone online call it Tengen's TED Talk, which I thought was amazing. So at the time of recording, by the way, the Maki episode, I think it's called something Preparation, Perfect Preparation, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Has dropped, and it is exceptional. I want to say on IMDb, it's hit like a 9 point. I was going to say 9.8. Yeah. I did save this on my phone, so I can double check this. So, and it is a 9.8 out of 10. Yeah. Thought this was a fantastic episode. Of course, the animation was beautiful. References to Kill Bill were amazing. There was also quite a lot of references to a particular animator. Their name escapes me at the moment, which is really annoying. But it was the lead animator that was on My Hero Academia. So you get like a load of those like cube-shaped explosions and stuff. And there's some certain frames that look, again, amazing, because it was like, in My Hero when he's fighting Overhaul and he has all the fists behind him in the sky sort of thing. It was almost like a one-for-one for that, which was, again, a beautiful reference.
And then we also got that lovely parallel to an earlier episode of One Piece as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, when Maki is squaring up against Naoya, when he's going in for his like final attack on her, thinking he's gonna like end her. And she kind of like the whole setup of that scene is, I cannot remember what arc it is in One Piece, but I watched a video where someone had put them both side to side, and it's like you can very clearly see the influence because it like the scene plays out in the same way. But I know that obviously there was a lot of like One Piece talent working on this episode as well, so it makes sense that like they gave that scene to like I want to say they gave that scene to the guy who actually animated like the Gear 5 Awakening.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
In such, but like it's like if you watch it side by side, it's like play for play, it's like the same sort of like scene setup and stuff where it's like you've got a character who's like holding their ground, like getting ready for an attack, and you've got a character who's moving really, really fast all over the place, and you've got the eyes doing the tracking thing, like it's their Sharingan's been activated and stuff. Me and Kira, we watched the episode, and honestly, I think that's the first time that we've watched something and we've literally just been like, the episode's ended and we've been like speechless. Like I said this when we came out of like watching Infinity Castle and realizing that like obviously we'd now have to wait for like maybe a minimum a year until the next one comes out, that like I didn't know what to do with myself after that episode, and I didn't know how I was meant to just continue on with my evening.
Yeah.
Like I would have quite happily gone to the cinema and watched that episode played 3 times in a row.
Yeah, there's so much to process like after it as well, because there's so much that's said, and if anything, there's a lot of things that's not said. But because the action has so much subtext to it, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this is like a work of art, because it's things like, you know, Naoya putting his feet onto the piano. That's not in the manga. That's like new here. But again, it just kind of shows the brash sort of dominance and ego of him.
Yeah, and it's like disrespect of like everything around him. It's not even just like disrespect for people. It's like disrespect for things as well.
Yeah. And like there's this like weird, subtle like flashback. Like as Naoya and Maki are having their conversation, there's like a mini flashback in the courtyard, and it's supposed to reference a particular panel of Naoya like kicking Maki on the ground.
Yeah, bullying her when they were younger.
Yeah. So again, it's supposed to give the perception of the bullying, like you say, the flashback and stuff, so you understand the dynamic. But again, there's no words to it. There's no context. You just get this little glimpse from a window. Again, amazing. I thought it was amazing direction, but like you alluded to earlier, it seems to be like the Western audience have loved this and interpreted it as like a work of art. Yeah,
absolute cinema.
Yeah, but from again, some of the news outlets and things are saying like the Japanese audience didn't really click with this, and it seems to be a battle of tastes at the moment, because the Kenjaku episode did really well with Japanese audience, but it was the reverse here in the West. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's just generally, and like I said, I was thinking about this earlier on when I was like just like pottering around in the house, making tea, getting the dog out. But I was like thinking that I think that maybe, just maybe, that the responses would be more aligned between East and West if this episode had aired before the lockdown happened. I think that there, and I say this with absolutely no disrespect because people like what they like, but I think that a lot of people who got into anime over that period got into anime because of they just wanted to see hype fight scenes. They wanted to see hype battles, and they don't want to see like talking. They don't want to see like kind of that building. And obviously the Lobotomy Kaizen crowd have kind of like memed JJK so hard that it's like kind of unfortunately, I feel like there are so many people who look at JJK and they're like, well, it's only good when there's fighting happening. You know what I mean?
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, I might be completely off base there, but I think that, you know, that things might be a little bit more closely aligned in terms of opinions on the episode if that boom hadn't happened.
Yeah, just to kind of rebuttal, the only thing I would probably say against that is I don't know if One Piece has expedition dump episodes like that, because I'm not a huge One Piece fan. But the fact that so many people stuck with One Piece as long as they did, like during, like you say, the lockdown boom, it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, if you bring One Piece into this, look at this, and I don't know that this is the case for every single person who watched One Piece, but like if you're watching something for like One Piece from episode 1 up to date over that period of time, are you watching the full episode, or are you skipping over all of the last time on Dragon Ball Z sort of thing that happens? Because we've joked about this on the show before, but a lot of One Piece episodes, at least like in the like beginning to the middle, it's a lot of like every single episode is maybe like 75% the last episode with maybe 25% something new. Because when I was trying to get caught up, I was literally like, I was skipping over like maybe 75% of the episode just to watch the new stuff, because I've already watched the previous episode. I don't need to see it played out again.
Yeah. Is any of the Joy Boy stuff like heavy exposition? Yeah.
Yes. So in the manga, because I'm not up to date on the anime by any means. I did try and get into like the start of Egghead Islands, but then I kind of fell off it again for the same sort of reason. There was just a lot of like repeating of stuff that had already happened. I was like, oh my god, if this is what it's going to be, then I kind of like I don't have the energy for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that One Piece does have a lot of chapters which are just so much talking, and so much explanation, like to the point where when I'm reading One Piece, sometimes you sometimes get lost on some pages because they'll like do a double page spread, and there's so much text on that thing. It's like, what order am I meant to be reading this in? There's so much going on in this frame. I think that because I just think that One Piece, because it's like kind of part of the old guard, I guess, I think that people are more willing to kind of let stuff like that slide with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just trying to think as well, is it as complex as curse techniques and, the rules of the culling game? And again, I know some people have complained before that JJK feels a little convoluted with its like the Six Eyes user and the Star Vessel and Kenjaku and all this stuff. So I wonder if it's complex as it is anyway compared to the likes of One Piece, which is more,
I don't know. It's when usually it gets complex in One Piece when they start talking about what the government's got going on or something that happened in history and stuff. Yeah. That's when there's a lot of like exposition. But everyone likes different stuff. I thought personally that the episode was incredible. I can understand though where the viewers in Japan are coming from. I guess this isn't what this episode's about, but I guess this is going into that argument of like, are studios trying to pander to Western audiences and what they like? But that's an episode for another day, I think, because we've got other animes to talk about today.
That's true. Just to piggyback off that, it's funny you should mention it because this week there was word of Mappa and Netflix having that deal, right? Where and the main sentiment coming out of that is that maybe Mappa will make anime for a global audience, not necessarily for a Japanese audience. But yeah, again, that may be like a future episode to kind of get into and to kind of break apart and stuff. I'm loving JJK Culling Games Part 1 so far. I am excited to see all the upcoming battles. Like, I know Yuta goes on a bit of a run when he gets to the section of Japan where he's going, and
he's beating the fraud allegations for real.
And I'm excited to see Hikari make his debut as well. So I'm really excited about the future of this season.
Absolutely, same. What's next? What have you been watching?
I'm gonna kind of pull out one that's flying under the radar at the moment. So it is called, drum roll. So it is called Samurai Troopers. I think the full title is Yori Shinden Samurai Troopers. You can get this on Crunchyroll. It's a bit of an odd one because it's kind of set in the same universe as Ronin Warriors, which was like an old 90s or 80s anime series where think kind of Power Rangers but with samurai powers, I guess. It feels a lot in line with the remakes of like Ranma 1/2 and Yaiba, because it's got like this older sort of aesthetic, older sort of source material, but it's been revamped with new animation, new sort of characters and things of that nature. First 4 episodes into it, again, beautifully animated, beautiful color palette. The story itself is kind of the first episode I thought, oh wow, this is going somewhere, because the whole idea is like the demon army that the original Ronin warriors beat in the 80s has come back and they're prepared to take on the Ronin warriors again. Since the Ronin warriors did their thing in the 80s, the government started to make like a whole organization and train up the next sort of troops. So again, think of that Power Ranger sort of mentality where, say, Mighty Morphins happened and then the government decided to invest in teenagers becoming the next sort of Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's like there might be another threat and we might need another unlikely group of
teenagers, but with attitudes. So this is what Samurai Troopers is, but they have fallen short in their preparations. Like the demons come back and they go on a massacre, and it's quite a like visual massacre because you're like, oh wow, this is, you see someone get like, yeah. And then the funny thing as well is that the troopers that they've been training, prepping up for these, they're dirtbags. Like they are like, actually, we're going to use this as an opportunity to loot and like steal stuff. And like, there's the one trooper who's like, this is bad, guys. We got to save people. And like, he tries to save some kids and some rubble, and then the rubble falls on him. And the troopers are like, let's just leave him. And you're like, what am I watching? This is crazy. Yeah. But then it turns into the whole Super Sentai thing. So it goes on one scale, it goes dark, and then a switch flips, and then it's like kids TV. So
it's honestly not lost on me that you said at one moment it goes dark, and then my camera just went so dark.
I'm sticking with this because it has some good animation and
some potential.
Yeah, the characters are really intriguing. So again, all of the samurai themselves, like one of them is a vet, so he's like coming back, but he's like, I'm older, so this is taking a lot out of me to, do and maintain. There's another guy whose grandmother perished in the demon attack and stuff, so he's like has this
revenge.
Exactly. So
she was like my mother.
So it's only 12 episodes, so I think it could be a good little watch.
I'll definitely keep it in mind when I'm looking for something once I've run out of the things that I'm currently watching. So
Undisputed Anime has a dream of becoming the #1 podcast in the world when it comes to anime, but we need your help. That's why this episode is brought to you by you. We need you to like, subscribe, leave a comment, things that you love about the podcast, which you hate about the podcast, things you'd love us to review, watch, review, talk about, all those wonderful things. We want your support. To do that, we want you to be part of the podcast. So be sure to leave a comment, read them out on the show, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. All the relevant links will be in the description. And if you listen to this on your favorite podcast platform, again, feel free to leave a star rating and a comment on what you'd like to see from the podcast. It truly means the world to us that you have supported us this far. We're looking to pierce the heavens and make sure our drill is the one to do it. So be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down and below. Even an emoji, we'll read those too. What else are you currently watching?
Seem to be only going for hype things, apparently. Sentenced to be a Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, has not disappointed so far. It is such a dark and effed up world.
It really is, isn't it?
It really is. Like, first episode, like, goes straight into it. There's no opening sequence. There's no end sequence. It is just literally straight into it. The world is awful. And it's not like it's awful and you know that people are dying. It is like showing people dying in some awful, slow ways. And just, it really just sets out immediately like how dire the situation in the setting is. And like Demon Blight is such an interesting concept because it's like, it changes everything that spends too long there into like, they call them fairies. Mm-hmm. But it turns up into like a monster that serves like a demon lord.
Yeah.
And like the demon lords are like, there's like so many demon lords because like once one of these monsters gets to a certain like strength, they become a demon lord in their own right, and all the other like fairies like start obeying them. And it's like, and like, I think at the point we're at in the episodes, it's like they've just like defeated like the 15th demon lord.
Yeah.
And stuff. And it's just been like so crazy. And like just the whole concept of like, oh, in this world, being a hero is a punishment. And like, if you, as a hero, if you die, they will basically just call your soul back to a new body to have you keep fighting in this endless war. And obviously heroes are treated very, very poorly.
Yeah, there's this whole like stigma against them, isn't there? Because the heroes, they have like a tattoo around their neck to signify that they've been sentenced.
Yeah, and it blows up if they don't listen to orders.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really blown away by the quality of this as well. Like the first episode was nearly an hour long, but it felt like a movie because the quality was just insane. And
incredible.
They've managed to keep that up with episodes 2, 3. Are we 3 or 4 into at the moment?
We are 3 in at this
3.
point.
Episode 4 airs in 4 days at the time of recording. Yeah. It's really bizarre as well because I got like Lord of the Rings vibes from the first episode. Do you know what I mean? Like Helm's Deep, back against the wall, this oncoming like wave after wave. And
yeah, I really like it when you see a situation where it's very clear that that everything is stacked against the good guys. Mm-hmm. And it's like the people who like humanity is obviously the good guys and the fairies are the bad guys. And it's very clear that this is a war that humanity is losing because like they're losing so much land to the demon blight. I also I'm so fond of the idea of like, and you see this in other media as well, but like the idea that like once you're sentenced to be a hero, like you're essentially a hero forever until the Holy Empire or whatever has had their use of you. Mm-hmm. But it's like you see this talked about a lot in the earlier episodes. It's like if they obviously die, they can be brought back. And I think a lot of the heroes are like, oh, what if it's fine? I'm really badly injured right now, so just kill me, and then they'll bring me back in a body that isn't like racked in pain. But like as the main character Zylo keeps like pointing out, is like every time they bring you back, you're gonna lose a bit of yourself. And I think that they show that very, very well with 2 of the other companions. You've got the king and you've got his like the other companion with the great axe and stuff like, and the one with the great axe is like there's like nothing left of him. He's just like a killing machine.
He's basically a walking zombie, right? Like they give him basic commands and he just
does it.
Yeah.
And then you got the king, who's like, he was this like really renowned, like magical, like craftsman or something like that. But he was basically sentenced because he was a terrorist, and he thinks that he's the king that he used to serve.
Yeah.
And stuff. So he regards everyone as his subjects, but he's a really interesting character. And obviously you got to see him like go absolutely like bananas in this like most recent episode. So like I've really enjoyed this. There was a lot of hype talk about it coming up, and I'm glad it's not disappointed.
Yeah, same. It's a level of quality as well that really surprises me week to week, because with the introduction of the goddess, you're kind of like, okay, this is the get out of free card at any given moment. But because of Xylo's character and his development and his background and everything else, of reluctant to use the goddess,
utilize her,
it makes it really interesting that he's willing to go so far, like with his own abilities, his own strategy and everything else, and it's only until like things are so dire that he's like, okay.
Yeah, and she usually basically not blackmails him, but puts him in a position where it's like, well, I'm going to get involved in this fight regardless of whether you want me to be here or not. So you either protect me and utilize my power, or I'm just going to be here in this fight and you don't know what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't want what happened in my past to happen again, so I need to fight even harder now to protect you.
I really like the plot twist at the end of episode 1. I don't know if we should say, because in case spoilers, fair enough. But no, I really liked it. And when you get to see his court hearing and find out why he's been sentenced, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. What I also really liked about that whole scene was the fact that it's like, you can clearly see that there's something more going on here. Like there's something corrupt going on in the government. So interesting. Definitely going to be keeping up. Can't wait for the next episode to drop.
Yeah. I really look forward to this week to week, because it's just so well put together. So yeah,
absolutely.
To be a hero. Make sure to check that one out. Is it my turn?
It is.
Ooh, where am I going to go next? I am going to go with... I don't know if you would have seen this one, so I'll mention it here. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, but I'll share it. This one has an extremely long title, which is Shibio Yugi playing death games to put food on the table. I watched the first episode. I haven't gone back to watch it because, first of all, the first episode was 47 minutes long. So it's a long, it is a long one, but the animation is really good. It gives this little sort of movie quality, and it's available on Netflix. 3 episodes are currently available at time recording. All the other episodes are 24 minutes long. The premise of this is, think of Saw movies, but
there's a competition
of such. So
it's the Mr. Beast games.
Yeah. The first episode, there's 6 girls that wake up. They're all in these maid outfits, and for some of them, they've done this before, because if you survive the games, you get like a huge jackpot full of money. If you don't survive, you don't survive. It's kind of Squid Game-esque as well, you could say. So the whole idea is that they have to find their way out of this like mansion, but the mansion has booby traps, again, games and all sorts. So it's dark, but it's not gruesome, because it does something weird where it replaces the blood with like teddy bear stuffing. So when some sort of
horrific act occurs,
there isn't blood, there's fluff.
Maybe it's like one of those things where they're doing like, oh, well, instead of showing blood, we'll show like the stuffing, because it basically implies that the person who's running the game sees the contestants as like toys or dolls or something like that.
That's what I was thinking.
Doesn't see them as people. You don't see them as humans. You're seeing them as like playthings.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they through their conversations with each other, it's like they reassure them that, for example, if they lose a limb, that their limbs will get reattached because it's a massive corporation that pays for this, and it's like all these high-end people come to watch it. Again, a bit like Squid Games.
Yeah, so it's anime. It's Squid Game with anime girls.
Yeah, with waifus, you could say. I'm pretty sure I watched it dubbed, which was really good. Again, it's not usually my thing, so that's why I haven't gone back to it. But it could be, again, if you're into like horror or things like Squid Games, this could be one for you. But it may not be for little Timmy. So just be careful.
Timmy.
Be careful with those Netflix accounts. That's all I'll say. Would that be something you would watch?
It might be like a downtime thing. Like if I was like needing something to watch, just like in the background, I maybe watch it. Not right now though. Not right now, I wouldn't say. So
not with the lead up to Pancake Day. Absolutely not.
Yeah, not with the lead up to Pancake Day. Honestly, Shrove Tuesday's coming around, guys. If you're British, you get it. If you're not British, well, what does that mean?
Ask Gemini. What else have you been watching?
Oh, so what else have I been watching? I've obviously been keeping up with Fire Force. We don't have to go too much into that because is that technically this season, or is it like last season? Because it kind of like started in like a weird place.
They split it. Part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
So this is
I've been watching part 2 of Fire Force. I'm going to raise my hands up in the air. I'm going to say one of the things that I should be watching I haven't started watching yet. I'm not sure when I'm going to start watching it, which is Free Ren.
Okay, yeah.
Not started watching Free Ren yet. I'm kind of like debating waiting for there to be like a bulk of episodes, because last time I watched it, I was like, one episode was just not enough. I needed to consume a lot of it all at once. I'm going to talk about Free Ren now, but then go back to Fire Force, because with Free Ren, it's interesting you say that. I've watched the first episode. Yes, episode 3 dropped within the last couple of hours. So yeah, I watched the first episode. Oddly, it's a collection of stories. So the first episode is like, this happened, and then it goes into another sort of like, and one day this happened sort of thing. So it feels like catching up on what they've been up to since we last saw them.
It feels like 3 mini episodes jammed into one. So they're not super episodes like when Free Ren took on those demons or anything, but they're very much like slice of life episodes, if that makes sense.
Well, to be fair, like Free Ren's shown itself to be extremely well suited for those kinds of episodes. I think towards the tail end of like the last season, there were a couple of episodes where it's like, okay, we're going to follow all the different contestants, like all of the different participants who were in the exam, and like what were they doing after the exams are over. And it like showed that was a really nice cool down episodes where it's like, oh, well, what are these guys going to do now? Because like this exam only happens like once every like 3 to 7 years. It's just like that. It's just kind of like, what are they going to do now? And so it was nice to like see some of them going back to work, and others like, oh, well, you know, that's all over now. I'm going to like treat my my younger like participants to like a meal or something like that. I'm going to like look after them, and you know, because I'm an old man. Just like yeah, no, you're right. Those sort of like cool down episodes.
I would probably say that's what to expect with the first episode. I don't know. I can't remember if episode 2 does a similar thing, but I think expectation wise, I kind of knew that there was going to be some sort of like drawn out part of it because there wasn't that many volumes or that many chapters ahead of where season 1 of the anime had finished. So yeah.
Just see where it's going to go. Get me that list back. Get me that list back up. Get me that.
When I get that for you, just quickly on Fire Force, I am really enjoying this season. 2 episodes are out so far. 3 episodes, tell a lie. I watched it yesterday. The first episode, again, I thought was a bit of a sort of expedition. A bit of
exposition. It was a lot of this is what has happened.
Yeah.
We're getting you caught up because obviously we took a break mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to remind you what happens.
Yeah. But what I found kind of really interesting is, again, minor spoilers, but during that time, Shinra was quote unquote away. He had been swapped out with another Shinra. And
with his doppelganger.
Yeah, and then the whole revelation that he slept the sister, I was like, my heart felt heavy. I was like...
It absolutely claps her. Just like...
I was like, man, could you imagine waking up and finding out, like, this other version of you had, like, slapped someone you cared about? I was like, that is terrible.
It was a good episode in that, like, it was very funny because obviously we get to see like he's like dyes his hair back to being black and then he's like he doesn't even realize that he's gotten tattoos. Stuff like that. And he's like he obviously has like a great reverence for like the body his mother gave him and stuff like that, and not wanting to like defile it with like tattoos and stuff. So so he's got like tattoos now and he hates it, and it's
So yeah, it was a really powerful episode. And then the episode with Benimaru versus his old boss, I was like, this is giving me goosebumps. Like, again, it's not cinema as quality, but I was like, everything about it, like there was no wasted motion. Like seeing Benimaru as a kid and seeing what the boss went through and almost acting as the villain because it's needed. I was like, oh my gosh.
The world needs someone to make cold, rational decisions.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, this is incredible. And then the whole troop comes rallying behind Benimaru before he hits like his move, the combination of the moon and the sun. I was like, ah! And then what happens to the physical moon? Whoa.
Where have I seen that moon before? Where have I seen that?
I love how the first like 3 minutes of the next episode is they're like, the moon is smiling. Why does it have a face?
Like, why does it have a face? And they're like, oh, wow, this is how people imagine the moon to be.
Incredible.
I think episode 3 was a little bit slower. Just generally a little slower pace because you obviously got a bit of a history dump, and you learnt about like Shinra's mother.
That's true. Yeah,
but you also like this is, I guess, since it's a part 2 of a season, I'm going to be a bit freer with spoilers here and stuff like that. But it's like people are starting to realize who are looking into it that like Adola is like the world that people imagine. It's like kind of what people think about things, which is why Shinra is like often portrayed as like a demon because people saw him that way. But then you start to learn, Shinra and his brother were virgin births, and back in the old world before the Great Catastrophe, there was a story of a virgin birth, and he went on to be a great savior and stuff like that. And that's where this whole like now his brother's like, oh, my brother was born because the world needed a hero. And stuff like that. And now he's like, and what does that make me? And it's like, it makes me the angel in that story that needs to guide him.
Yeah, it's really.
So it's getting good. We're in that good place. I'm just waiting for for more Arthur.
Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating. And I kind of thought as well, last season, animation quality wise was like off. And I was like, why is it so off? Like this, I expect better from them. And it feels like everything's been saved for this side of the season, if you know what I mean. So
this is where the most hype bits are happening.
Exactly. You wanted the list. I've got the list for you.
Give me the list, because I'm pretty sure there's something else I'm watching right now that is new and not old. I just cannot remember for the life of me what it is. It's Sunday morning, guys, and I'm in a warehouse somewhere. I'm not watching Oshinoko. What am I watching on this list?
Chain Soldier.
Trigun.
Trigun, yes.
Trigun. I don't know why I forgot it. I've watched episodes 1 and 2. Thought it was excellent. It really just started. There was no downtime. It literally started like as this is it's been 6 months since the end of last season, like of what happened at the end of last season, and this is what's happened to the world, and now we're kind of like everything's like moving forward really quickly in that very much like in the way that it did in the original manga, where it's kind of like, oh, things are gonna start being a bigger scale now because Earth has heard their like distress calls, and there's a fleet coming from Earth and stuff, and like, so everyone in the world is currently like, well, we're saved now. We're not going to die on this like desert planet, because they've said that like anyone who wants to join the colony can join the colony and stuff. So it's like everyone's like, oh, well, we don't have to ration our food now food or alcohol now, because in 6 months' time, like everyone, will be getting saved. And obviously, there's a fallacy in that, isn't there? There's like kind of like a danger in that, because like what happens? Because if you've read the original mangas, you kind of have an idea of what will happen, because there's a certain twin brother who is not Virgil, who has already been hinted as maybe not being as dead as the end of last season would suggest. And obviously, episode 2 was very much like was a much slower episode, but it was like, okay, this is what's happened to Vash and stuff like that. And you go like, the episode is so lovely and stuff. I don't really have a lot more to say. I'm just really, really looking forward to seeing where this goes. I really have loved what like Trigun has done.
Yeah.
The streams are crossing.
I felt it.
What Trigun's done with this like new series. I know the animation's not everyone's cup of tea. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's great, and I really love the redesigns of all the characters. Like this current iteration of like Vash, like being like kind of seeming like younger, and like his like coat is cool as hell. Yeah. It's I was really looking forward to this one, because Trigun Maximum is the one that I started first and grew up with before realizing there was like a whole prequel manga. Stargaze, the first episode, I was kind of like, okay, cool, this is just explaining what's happened since, like you said, and everything else. And then the last 7 minutes, I was like, this is incredible, because you had like this version of Vash who had like memory loss and stuff, and then he had this caretaker, and it's when he was shaving him and he holds the like knife to his neck, I was like, oh, like I get it. Yeah. This is the whole like he's fully humanoid typhoon by now. Like they even show like the bounty of is it $60 billion dollars? It's a huge amount of money. Yeah. But it's like, obviously you find out that the guy who was looking after him like lost someone important to him as a result of Lost July. And he's been looking after Vash because he wants to get his vengeance on him, I guess. But I'm guessing that it's one of those situations where it's like, if I were to do it right now, I would just be taking the life of a defenseless
man. Yeah.
Like there's nothing left of him right now. He's like completely like traumatized from what happened. So he's been looking after him and like kind of like using him as like a substitute for the person who he lost. But then obviously when the new character is introduced, and he's like, oh, things have got to start moving now. And he's like, I can use this new character to maybe wake Vash up. And then he's like, I'm taking this character to this location, and if you don't come by sundown, I'm going to kill them. And then he shows up and stuff like that. And he's like, you need to, if either you kill me or I'm going to kill you and this other character. So you need to either kill me. And like Vash does the fight, and he's like, he manages to win the fight without actually killing him, doesn't he? And
Classic
then he's like,
Vash.
But then the guy's like, no, you need to do this. And he makes him shoot him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really powerful. Really powerful episode. But yeah, I'm so excited for this season because, again, it feels closer to what I remember. Again, even things like the moon having like a gunshot in it, like a hole in it and stuff. I was like, this is like taking me back and stuff. So yeah,
it does. It kind of feels like season one was just kind of trying to set, because if you think about it, like the world, like Gunsmoke as a planet and as a setting is like very, very complicated. There's a lot of really, really complex things going on there. And I feel like they needed like the whole first season just to kind of like build the world up
and set the stage.
Show what people are like on this world and what is, because it's like, I think that a lot of it is like, it's not even that like people are inherently bad. It's that the world is so harsh that it requires really harsh decisions being made.
Yeah. Yeah. And it encourages violence, which is why Vash is like such an interesting character, because he's doing everything possible to not encourage more violence. Yet he is perceived as the most
dangerous thing on the planet.
yeah, exactly. So which is amazing. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. Shall I rapid through some of these other ones quickly, because I know
because I'm the only other animes that I'm watching at the moment are I'm finally getting caught up on Gachiakusa.
Okay,
but that's not a this season thing. That's a last season thing.
That's a last season thing. Something I'll know your love is My Hero Academia Vigilante season 2. Again, incredible animation with this. I'm pretty sure Bones Films is working on this one, which explains why the quality is so good week to week on this. The opening and ending, they are fantastic. But yeah, really fun. If you've seen the first season, you kind of know what to expect, but we're seeing a little bit more of our boy discover more layers to his quirk, I should say. Also, it's really fun to see Aizawa like have these like connections to like these gangsters and stuff and getting like intel. It's really fun.
He's like he really toes the line, doesn't he?
yeah. But also, again, minor spoilers, we're seeing a little bit more of All Might in this, in his human form, like interacting with the chief of police. So they're having like these like coffee dates to catch up and stuff, which is really cool. So yeah, that's been really fun. The other one is Hell's Paradise season 2. We're back with Gabimaru and the gang. Really enjoying the second season again. I feel like this needs more. Like, I feel like no one really talks about Hell's Paradise when it's Mappa's other project that they're working on. Like, there's Jujutsu Kaisen and there's this, and it's kind of like, this is fantastic. Like, it is doing so much. I feel like the gap between seasons may have hurt it a little bit, because even I'm like, what's Tao again? Tao's like this whole like energy system that they have and stuff. But I love it. I think the whole complex relationship dynamic between Gabimaru, his wife, his executioner, I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. It's good. It's good stuff. I've not started watching season 2 yet. I do intend to do so because I really did enjoy the first season. I wonder if it's just again one of those stories where it's like there's a level of complexity to it that some people don't get, and as a result, it's like, and also it's like it's not just fighting.
It's got good fights in it though.
It's got good fights in it, but it's like I feel like maybe people are looking at it, they're seeing the Mappa label, and they're like, oh, this is going to be like hype as hell. And it's hype, but it's not hype in the way that I think that people want it to be hype.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Hey, is it unhype to love your wife? You know, that boy, he just loves his wife. He just wants to get back to his wife.
He just wants to get back to his wife. Simple.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a ninja. He wants to get back to his wife.
Literally, he's got he just wants to get home. Just have a nice home cooked meal. Just like hang out. And yet here he is, forced on a death trip.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being so good at your job, being so good at your job that the king has you arrested, brings you in, and is like, hey, we're going to send you to this very, very dangerous place. Bring me the elixir of life, and then you can go home. Because that's basically what happens here, isn't it? It's like, you're really good at your job, so as the king, go and do this for me. Some of you may die, but it's a price that I'm willing to make.
Yeah, I love the ultimatum where it's like, you're a criminal, so you either do this or you go to prison. It's kind of like, what are we? Oh wow, technically they'd execute them, wouldn't they? Because that's why they have executioners.
But that's the thing, is like, I think the Gabimaru has already shown himself to be like unkillable. It's like he's like literally like, didn't they like someone try and chop off his head originally, and it's like the sword broke.
Well, that's the whole first episode. Is like he seems invincible, but I can't remember her name. She figures out his vulnerability, and that's what scares him, because he's like, oh no, wait, I love my wife. Yeah. And I love this beautiful character journey where he's not as hollow as he thinks he is, and then, like, again, minor spoilers, but at the end of season 1 he loses his memory. So the beginning of this, he is quote unquote Gabimaru the Hollow. So he's like, I don't trust these people, but they seem to know me.
He's doing a bit of like Light from Death Note internal monologue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny I say it's funny, but it's also kind of like, the dynamic, you built everything up and then took it all away, and like, you were so close before. Gabimaru, you gotta know this. But yeah, I love this series. I really do.
Well, I'll definitely be jumping in on that then.
And the last one to mention is, of course, the second hypest anime at the moment, Fate Strange Fake.
On my list, gotta get on it. I gotta get on it.
I might throw this out there. This might be the best Fate in all of them.
That's saying a lot in a world where unlimited blade works exists.
I mean, there's like 9 unlimited blade works, but yeah. I think this could be the best one. I know this has brought a lot of new eyes to it because, of course, the others, it's been years since the others. But the release of the dub and sub versions have been fantastic because they're bringing them out at the same time. The only thing I find really peculiar is Gilgamesh has so much screen time in this. Like, he must have the most screen time than any other series, I think.
They're giving the people what the people want. It's not what I want. I'm sure it's there because people love Gilgamesh. I think Gilgamesh is a really hype character. I kind of want to see more. I kind of am just always like, I just want to see more Saber. I just want to see her. I want to see the young Pendragon. I want to see her like. But you know, that's my preference.
So this one's really good because, of course, it's had like incredible animation, incredible fights. Again, you could say this is even movie quality. The first 2 episodes are really movies because they, 1, are feature lengths, and 2, they were years apart. But I'm having a lot of fun with this, and kind of like what we were saying about Beerus before, Gilgamesh is kind of fitting that role of being all powerful, but yet loving trivial things like having champagne and driving around in a car and, you know, having suits made for him and stuff. But then when something disrespects him, it's amazing. Knowing that there's a lot of new eyes on the Fate series and people want to know, is this a good jumping on point? I'd say yes, it is a good one. There's a lot of... Scratch that. There is some callbacks to other Fate series or other sort of explanations. So, for example, I don't know if you remember this. In one of the masters, one of the participants, they are this kind of plucky-go-lucky character, and they joined the Holy Grail War because they wanted to. You know, they done it in secret. They were like, I want to be in the Holy Grail War. This is going to be so exciting. I want a spirit to be my best friend. And basically, he sees Gilgamesh, so he takes a photo on his phone, and he messages his teacher at the sorcery school back in London, and he says like, hey, I've seen another heroic spirit, do you think I have a chance of being my friend? And of course it's Gilgamesh. His teacher looks at it and he like goes white because the teacher is the boy who summoned Alexander in Fate Zero. Oh. And actually I won't say, but so he's getting like PTSD from this one picture message of Gilgamesh like living it up.
I think Fate as a series, as a franchise, is very. I think mostly everything in the Fate series can be watched standalone, but it helps to have watched previous things. It's like you can watch Fate Zero as its own thing. You can watch Fate Stay Night or Unlimited Blade Works as their own thing, but you get more out of it if you've watched them both. But they're always like, the Fate series are always like self-contained enough that like, if you don't know, you don't know. But if you do know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like anyone else, they'd be like, oh, he's shocked because that's Gilgamesh. But for long-time fans, they're like, he's shocked because he's...
Oh, he's shocked because it's Gilgamesh.
They know the menace that he can be. So, yeah, I think this is approachable, much more approachable than Fate Encore or Fate Order, maybe. But yeah, I think this one's more in line with Apocalypse or, again, like you said, Zero, Fate Stay Night. It's much more approachable.
Yeah, cool. To be fair, I've been like, again, Fate Stay Night is like one of those, like, every time someone mentions it, it's like kind of a Kingdom Hearts to me, where it's like every time someone mentions Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, maybe I should replay Kingdom Hearts. Same with Fate Stay Night. Every time someone mentions Fate, I'm just like, maybe I should watch every single Fate anime that there is.
This is giving me the itch to go back and rewatch them because it's been so long. Yeah. Also, the one thing that always reminds me of Fate, and I was kind of, it's that early 2000s of a plane that has loads of swords sticking out of the ground for X reason. Like Fate does it all the time. Bleach had it when Ichigo was training for his Bankai. Kingdom Hearts, not
Keyblade Graveyard.
The Keyblade Graveyard. I was trying to think of the trailer, but it wasn't Deep Dive. It was.
You're thinking of Birth by Sleep.
Sleep, thank you. Yeah. Gives me that early 2000s like energy.
I am the bone of my sword, my friends.
Unlimited Blade works. Oh, that's a lot of anime.
Yeah, a lot more anime than usual, but I'm going to be diligent. I'm going to stay on top of things this season. I'm going to be the best co-host I can be.
I love it. I love it. I've been keeping track in my little reading journal as well, or anime journal, I should call it. So, yeah, I even put things down like, I'm glad Meryl's enjoying sweets. This makes me happy.
Good to know. Good to know.
Good notes. Good notes.
You can take it to your therapist and be like, "This is what I did this week," and they're like, I see. This is a good measure of what you care about."
Yeah, exactly. Incredible fight with Benny Maru gave me goosebumps.
Love that.
So there we go. Let us know your thoughts on this season of anime. Are you watching all of these every day? Sometimes twice a day for some of these. We'd love to know your thoughts. Are you new to Fate as well? And if so, who do you think the Saber spirit is? It's one of my favorite games. Is guessing who these historic heroic spirits are. So let us know in the comments your thoughts, and be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and give us a star rating on your favorite podcast platform. Lucy Day, any final words?
Watch all the good anime that is on at the moment. Make time to do it. Take my example, as I'm clearly such a good influence to go and watch. Make time in your day to watch anime.
Good thing.
And drink water.
Staying hydrated.
Good H2O.
Thanks again for listening. Thanks for watching. And we will see you in a fortnight. Ta-ta for now.
TTFN.